meditation Zoom class is the congregation of people from so many different parts of the world, from the Middle East, from the United States, from Europe. I think that's a very wonderful thing. And to top it is I really feel very close to people in this class, almost kind of like a surrogate family. And it's amazing. Many of you I've never met, but to have this kind of deep connection with human beings is, I think, something very special. And I think something that I treasure, I hope you treasure, and something that we can extend into other areas of our life and use as a tool to truly, people still coming here, use as a tool in order to help us connect with whomever it is we have to live with and deal with every day in our lives. I think it's a wonderful thing that people can have this kind of deep connection, because the meditation we practice takes us very deep inside ourselves. And it really requires opening in a deeply profound way. And that opening is a connection that we all have, not only me with you, but everybody who participates in these classes. And I think it's something amazing that this kind of thing can take place. As I say, there are people here from the Middle East, from Europe, from the United States, from South America. I should really get in touch with the United Nations and maybe I can help them get a little piece of the world. I think it would be a very good idea. But anyway, God bless you all. And I think that this is really something very special. That in itself is something special, that I can be so deeply connected with people I have never met in person, more connected with many people that I know in person, because of the profound nature of this meditation and how deeply it requires us to go into ourselves and to open. So we'll have a meditation class, and if anyone has any questions afterward, I'll be happy to try and answer them. So please work in a very deep way. We'll have a class.
Stuart?
Yes.
I'm thinking when you meet somebody like your partner, and he or her are not in the same place like me or you.
I don't quite understand what you're saying. Can you repeat it?
I was thinking about that. You said we can not control other people and tell them what to do. But when you meet another person, like your partner, and that doesn't work because they are in another place than you are. Or you can work with yourself when it's so big difference between your partner. And I don't know what is to control. Do you understand now?
Laura, you can do work on yourself, but unless other people are willing to work on themselves, there's really nothing you can do except just love them the way they are. And in order to love them the way they are, you have to get stronger inside. So what their things they do don't disturb your consciousness, your balance, your harmony inside. You can't change people who don't want to change themselves. You can only love them for what they are. Let them be. Let them find their way. And if in a relationship it's too much for you to deal with, then get out of the relationship, for God's sake. You know, I mean, but the whole thing is that you can't change people unless they're willing to make, look, you know how many people have come to these classes over the last year, and you know how many people I've just taken off my list? And I don't blame them. It just means that I haven't gone deep enough in myself to be able to connect with them. But when people don't show up for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, there's nothing I can do. I can't chase after them to make them come here. So I take their names off the list. And I'd rather invest it in people that truly make the effort to be here than to chase people that don't want to do this kind of inner work and would prefer to be somewhere else. So, you can't change people unless they're willing to make the effort to be changed. This goes on a lot
Is it?
in relationships with people, even one's children and one's parents, we try to lecture and talk to them and convince them about what we think is, and they don't hear us because they're not ready to hear it. The whole secret is to get strong enough to love these people without allowing the things they do to disturb our consciousness, our inner growth. That, people that don't want to change, if they're in your life, they can make you very strong, especially if they're your children or your parents. Because in order to truly love them unconditionally, you really have to get strong inside. To put up with their stuff and their opinions and what they think is right or wrong, their judgments of us, and I really mean this. This is essential because most people in the world don't want to do deep spiritual practice now. Most people in the world, their goal is money and success and fame and the next house and, the fur coat and how many pairs of shoes they own. That's their consciousness. And you can lecture them until you're 200 years old, and they're not going to change unless something in them finally says, I need to grow. I need to learn how to get deeper in myself. So if you approach it this way, it all works. The people who are not conscious work for you because you got to get strong enough to truly love them. The people that are conscious work for you because you can truly connect with them. It all depends upon what we do inside ourselves.
But you said we can love them until they are not disturb our conscience. Isn't it? It's okay to go away if we can't do it.
It's okay to say no to somebody who is like a vampire eating your guts out every day. It's okay to say no. I don't need this in my life. I need to be nurtured. I need to be loved. I need to be, people that respect what I do, that are willing to support what I do, even if it doesn't agree with what, what they think is right, to give me the freedom to find my life. You have absolutely the right to say no. If people, are like vampires living around you, trying to control you and, keeping you in some kind of prison that they think is going to make you better, which is completely wrong for your life. At the same time, you got to get strong enough to just let these people be, not to fight with them and argue with them or convince them that you're right. Let them be. Let them find their way, just as you want to find your way. And in order to do this with other people, you have to get really strong inside. Otherwise, it's a war, People just eating each other alive. So all of this works if we're doing deep inner work. We grow no matter what is presented to us in life, because we can use everything, as a way of getting closer to God. Now, I'm not saying this is easy to do, and this takes a lot of training and a lot of work on oneself, just to be able to let people be, to be able to say no when somebody doesn't give you the room to breathe, to just walk away. I need to breathe. I can walk away.
And you have to grow. So I have to think how to
Don't
say.
think, please stop thinking. Open your heart and let it come from deep inside. Thinking is not going to resolve
No,
anything.
I think I think I think I grow so long
It's 2
to hear
o'clock.
to say no, because before I couldn't say.
Well,
Before I was not so strong to see.
Flora, thank God for this. This is a sign of your growth, that you can just say no to somebody. We don't want Count Dracula living in our midst, eating us alive, vampire. Nobody wants that. Yet we fight, we argue, we try to convince them, and it doesn't work. Love them unconditionally and do your life. And if they don't want to let you do your life, then you have the opportunity to say, no, I can't live this way anymore. I mean, nobody has the right to control any other human being. Who knows what's right for anybody in this world, People have to find out what works for them. And our job is to be strong enough to give people the freedom to find out what works for them, and also to have the freedom to find out what works for us. I mean, do you think it's been easy for me to teach this meditation? I can't tell you, if I started enumerating all the bullshit that I went through with family, with friends, with, business associates, that try to do numbers on me to keep me from doing what I'm doing. Or the spiritual teachers, for God's sake, magic with this and that. And I can't tell you. And all I know is that by doing it, I got strong enough to say no and not allow anything to interfere with what I've discovered works for me and is helping me to get closer to me. And at the same time, I learned the only way to be free of these people is you just forgive them. They know not what they do. They have no idea. They are not functioning consciously. And when you forgive them, you can move on in your life as well. So you don't hold any grudges inside and anger, and your heart is open. Unconditional love for even the craziness that goes on in this world. I mean, I never go into it. I don't really talk much about many of the things that have gone on in my life. But trust me, being here and doing what I'm doing today, over the last many, many, many years has been an enormous struggle. And mostly dealing with people whose opinions, they had their opinions about the way I should live my life. Or people trying to stop me from doing what I do. And there have been many people like that in my life. Magic, black magic, all kinds of crap I've had to go through in order to be sitting here and talking about love and the one thing that everybody wants, And I got through it by getting strong enough to say no, by having gratitude to my real teachers who made it possible for me to have my life, and never forgetting that gratitude, never forgetting where I came from when I was a young man and how really disturbed I was as a young kid. Never forgetting that, and having gratitude that there were teachers in this world that had the time and the patience to help me to grow. And not resenting anybody, because no matter who came into my life, every person offered me an opportunity to grow. The people that supported me, the people that try to kill me, that try to, every one of them offered me an opportunity to grow. Because every one of them meant only one thing: I had to get stronger inside. I had to get closer to God. I had to open more. I couldn't allow whatever they brought into my life to, destroy the growth that has taken place in my life. I mean, I always say it, everything in this universe is and every person is a manifestation of God. And they have one purpose, conscious or unconscious. That's to teach us how to grow every day of our life. That's their purpose. Some of them know it, most of them don't. But we have to be aware of this. And we have to use everyone as a tool so that we can grow. And then it enables us to forgive all these people because they're just manifestations of God teaching us what we have to do to grow every day. I mean, this is a hard thing to do. You really have to get strong inside to do this. But what did Christ talk about? What's in the Old Testament? It's just this, what I'm talking about here. And I'm not a religious person. I'm not a Christian or anything, a Jew or, I'm a child of God. That's what I am, a child of God.
I, uh, I I didn't meet a person until now who didn't want to change me. I didn't know, is it me?
You finally met somebody, or you've met somebody, and be grateful, and then use what I am teaching you to develop the same capacity in yourself. I mean it. You've met somebody. I want Flora to be the most wonderful Flora she can possibly be. Also a child of God, and use this, use it. And that's not only with you, it's with everybody sitting here. That's my job.
I do that.
Some.
I do that. I do that.
I'm here to be some religious totalitarian, some kind of religious fascist, to tell you how it has to be, What a bore. Does anyone
I do that.
Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask?
Could you talk about personality, or how it evolves, what happens to it whilst the individual is merging with spirits, or of this?
What happens to it? It just gets more full of love, more full of forgiveness, more full of patience, more full of understanding, less full of your ego and your need to control other people and be better than anyone else. That's what happens to your personality. It doesn't go away. It just begins to get these things that are so important to become a servant of higher energy in this world. I mean, it brings joy, it brings love, it brings patience with other people, not being better than anybody else, not having to, step on other people in order to attain what you are supposed to attain in this life. That's what happens to personality. Most personality is either, a promotion or a defense of ego. People's ego being, tossed out and other people, Same time, we don't have to do that. We have the security inside ourselves to be able to have consciousness, love, compassion in our interactions with other human beings, no matter who they are. I mean, what a great way to project charisma, huh? Just God is love. What? I have to control God? I mean, the idea in itself is insane, And you look in the eyes of these people and they're just madness, just madness. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask?
Sorry, I have an observation also from the practice. Last week, there wasn't one day that I wanted to show up to the meditation class. And even during the class, I was almost about to like push the exit button. But I had to like plow through, and I plowed through and did it. And this week has been like a new level, sort of.
I keep talking about that, Skender. Every time there's all this resistance, on the other side of it is a major opening.
Mm.
And you got to plow through it to get to the other side. And you're learning that. It's a very important thing to have to learn about inner work and inner growth. And a lot of people leave the meditation when the going gets tough. They do. Oh, I got so much resistance, there's pain, I got a pain in my toe, I got a this or that. It's nonsense. It's just resistance. If they just get to the other side of it, there's always a major opening to some different level of consciousness and understanding. That's why I don't listen to people's complaints anymore. I really have stopped. Don't complain, just work through it. On the other side of it, you'll be amazed at what's going to come into your life. And that's not only spiritually, it's materially, it's emotionally, it's in your relationships with other people. It all goes through a transformation and a change. But we have to get to the other side in ourselves. Does anyone else have a question? Okay, if there are no more questions, there will be meditation on Tuesday, same time. God bless you all. Thank you. Thank you for your questions. I mean, look what comes, it's extraordinary what comes. So bless you all, and I hope to see everybody on Thursday. I think what's happening here, a lot of people are falling away here. And I think we're building a real foundation, on which this work can grow, of people that are making a serious commitment, and I really like it. I like it a lot. So bless you all and thank you.
Thank
And
you.
I hope to see everybody.
Thank you.
This
Bye. Ciao.